Welcome to episode 15 of Against the Ropes. I am Gio Garcia. I am alongside Christian Mosqueda and Christian Rodriguez.
Against the Ropes, number one.
What's up, yo?
So what's up, buddy? End of the year. Excited.
Sure. Go ahead.
So we're gonna start with the PBC card from last week. So, do you guys obviously me and Joe were able to catch it? Chris, were you able to?
I did.
Yeah?
I did.
Thoughts on that?
I did, but the thing is, like, I saw before I saw the fight, I saw the title with Dan Rafael, and then Teddy Atlas wrote another article,
Yeah.
like disputing Dan Rafael's argument.
Okay.
But and then afterwards, I saw the CompuBox numbers before I saw
This guy stays on ESPN. Huh?
no, but then I saw the CompuBox numbers.
Gotta watch the fights, man. Come on.
So that's my thing. Do you look at CompuBox numbers and look at it like,
So
I think are they credible?
Like, so comic books numbers are telling. So what were they again?
No. Before we get to that,
I do see the comic book numbers.
what do you think, Gio?
Not really, because it's a person controlling the computer at the end of the day, right?
So,
Yeah,
Because remember when we looked at it, we're like, yeah, Charlo didn't outland him by that much.
because I was actually looking at the Triple G and Canelo fights and the CompuBox numbers, and they both looked like they were telling the story.
Okay,
So, if you look back at those two fights and look at the CompuBox, you can see why. Oh yeah, clearly body punches Canelo and Triple G with the jabs. And then I saw the fight, but I saw it on Fox Deportes in the Spanish version. And what was interesting is that the commentary was similar
Really?
to not similar, it was identical to going into Charlo. And then I was looking at it, at the CompuBox numbers, and here's the numbers.
Okay.
So total punches, Charlo 160
This is landed.
landed,
Okay.
and Harrison 128.
Okay, but how many were thrown? To me, it's like the effectiveness. 'Cause to me, it's like
So yeah,
Yeah.
160 to 548. Harrison 128 to 377.
yeah, that makes. I mean, to me, like that makes sense. Like obviously, Charlo maybe connected more, but how many shots were wasted?
And this is what the argument is between Triple G and Canelo. How Triple G was throwing nothing but jabs and Canelo was throwing nothing but body punches, power punches, right?
Yeah.
So it depends, like, what do you favor? Power punches over jabs, controlling the ring, right? So if you look at Charlo, he had 52 jabs compared to Harrison's 57. So Harrison had 5 jabs. And if you look at the power punches from Charlo, it was 108 compared to Harrison at 71. And
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't
That's
remember
why
him landing.
you
You
don't
know?
listen to ESPN, right?
I'm usually-
those were
no,
CompuBox numbers.
I'm usually for comic
Same
box,
shit.
but like Gio said, there's somebody behind, marking it down, and like, how do we know that guy's not biased? How do
That's
we
why
know
when you were saying, "Oh, Lily had it for Charlo," I'm like, "Oh, I can see it. Why? If if she's looking at it from like that type of angle, or are you looking at it from a jab perspective,
Yeah.
controlling the ring, power punches? Yes, all at the end of the day is all subjective,
that? Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you can agree with Teddy Atlas with this scorecard, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is the same guy that scored it Canelo corruption in this past second fight.
So yeah, to me it's just like, and that's something I told you in the beginning. I was like, if you can base it, like, if you can like prove it, like, because it's also, again, like you said, it's all subjective. If you can kind of like make a case for it
Yeah.
and prove it, then it's acceptable. But the way we saw it, like, there's more, there's a better case for Harrison. Like if there's like 7 points that you have for Harrison, you probably only find 4 for Charlo. But you're gonna find those points if you can, you're gonna find them.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have a hard time proving it if you're being like super objective and unbiased.
And I was trying to give the benefit of the doubt. That's the thing that I was trying to find an argument for Charlo.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I'm bringing it up,
Then,
because I had Harrison winning it.
Yeah.
So I was trying to make the argument about the CompuBox numbers and why Dan Rafael was talking about it compared to Teddy Atlas.
Yeah.
That's my only argument
Yeah.
with that.
And we actually judged the fight. I had it 6-5-1 for Harrison, and that's kind of like stretching it for Charlo.
Yeah,
to
so
be honest.
3 of us judged it, and all of us had 3 rounds for sure for Harrison. And then we had a couple draws, like in those 12. But honestly, like we said, it's tough to give those other rounds to Charlo because, I mean, we watched the fight.
But the thing
and
is,
it was Harrison's jab controlling the whole fight. There weren't many power punches landed, so that's why I don't look at those numbers because they don't tell any story really. You have to watch the fight to actually see what happened.
how many rounds did you had it where it was close, and it was hard to judge? How many?
It was probably like
All the ones I give to Charlo.
yeah, I would say that. I would
How many?
But I had
Probably
two. I had
3.
two, for sure that I scored it as a draw. But I was being nice to Charlo.
Yeah, there was probably 3, 4 rounds or three that were really really close, and one of them I actually.
So how many rounds did you had Charlo winning?
5, stretching it 5.
And then how many rounds?
The last 3 were for me, at least for me, were a little bit.
No, how many rounds did you had Charlo winning for sure?
For sure 3.
Damn,
For
dude,
sure
listen to the audio. We
for
already
sure,
talked about
for
this.
sure 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like mostly like the last ones started coming on, but because all the other ones were pretty close, but like I saw Harrison doing more.
Because it's that same argument, right? Like if you have a close fight between the champion, you have to give it automatically to the champion.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the same
We
thing
don't
with
agree.
Andre Ward
Well, I don't agree
and
with that.
Kovalev and Triple G and Canelo. If you're gonna take it to the champion, you gotta like cut the head off, right? Just like what Lily
Yeah.
mentioned.
Mm-hmm. I get your point. I get your point.
Yeah,
But to
that's
me-
one of the things we mentioned, right? And I said I don't agree with that because to beat the champion, you got to win the fight.
Yeah.
I don't understand where people come with those theories like, oh, you gotta.
To
You
me,
don't
yeah, you
really
get-
beat the champion. I
To
don't
me,
know.
you gotta take it for the champion, but the champion also has to show up. Like,
Yeah, because that argument doesn't make sense to me. How you have to. So, basically, you're saying the challenger is always gonna have the uphill battle, right? He's never
Yeah.
gonna get a fair chance.
Yeah, he
right?
doesn't. No, the challenger always has the uphill battle.
So he's never
even
gonna get a
before
fair
they even lace
chance?
the gloves. The
He's never
gloves
gonna-
are different ounces. The judges
He's
are
never
different.
gonna get a fair chance then in the ring.
He's never.
You're
look
not gonna
at-
judge them the same.
when you're in the blue corner, you're never gonna get judged the same compared to the A
I
side
mean,
fighter.
that's why we have so many bad judges because people think
That's-
of these theories.
that's-
that-
yeah.
to me, it
To
doesn't
me-
make sense, but
There's never been
I
a
mean-
fight where it's been fair.
yeah. And to me, like
it
Harrison.
should be.
Yeah.
That's what I'm bringing
But I
up.
mean, is these people with these mentalities like? You know,
Yeah.
I just don't see where that comes from.
Yeah.
It's
To me-
Like I said, to beat the champion, you just have to win more rounds or knock
Yeah.
him out, right?
Yeah.
It's that simple. But people try to make it complicated and come up with their own stuff. I mean, boxing is not that hard.
To me, as the Charlo was headhunting all the time, and
yeah,
he
he
was
was.
missing a lot. He was missing a lot,
Mhm.
and obviously he was frustrated with like the shell defense from Harrison, like those jabs that keep coming. It's not pretty to like the casual fan. It's not, but like if you
And that's why I don't like that logic
Yeah.
because if Harrison beats Charlo 9 times, like 10 times out of 10 times doing this, then by that logic, he would not win any fight because he
Yeah.
didn't take it from the champion, right?
Yeah.
Which is unfair to his style of fight.
yeah, he didn't take it from the champion on an aggressive level, but he took it from him like on a boxing
Yeah,
level.
like the mental part.
Yeah.
So let me
He just won that
let me
fight.
just point out these CompuBox numbers one more time.
Mm-hmm.
So compared to like total punches in each round, Charlo, first round he won, second round he won, third round he won, 7th round he won, 8th round he won, 9th round he won, 10th round he won,
Based
11th
on
round based on and the 12th round was really lopsided too, 25-8
Yeah.
total punch.
So this is based off a man counting punches for him, right?
Total.
Yeah.
And don't even say man, because it could be a woman too.
Yeah. To me, it's just like
So it's based off someone counting his punches. So
I mean, freaking Harrison was in the shell. Like if you hit his shoulder, they're gonna count that as
Yeah.
a punch.
Yeah.
Like
But my,
if you grade, like the way I saw this fight is Charlo hit him a lot of times just grazing him, right?
yeah.
But Harrison had like the very clear
Mhm.
jabs. And
but
that's one of the
my
things we
argument
mentioned
my
watching
argument
the fight.
towards you is basically that boxing is subjected to your own opinion, even when it comes down to stats.
Yeah.
That's the whole case that I'm trying to make.
Okay. Yeah.
Even with stats, still subject to your own opinion, because you're still gonna judge it between a boxer, not landing, when a boxer comes out aggressive, right? That's the same thing when we came down with Canelo and Triple G. Who was the one coming out aggressive, right? Like we scored it on the first fight, all Triple G, because he was bringing the fight,
I did it.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's just all subject to your own opinion.
It is.
Is
To
but
me, it's just the whole thing that they cried robbery. I would have. I would have been okay if they cried like, oh. it was a
Same
close
people
fight.
that
I
cried
think
robbery
Charlo-
for Triple G were the same people crying robbery for this one. It's like anytime it's a close fight, it's not a robbery.
not a
Like, just
robbery,
shut the fuck up. Sit
that's
down.
why I wouldn't agree to that, because that's why I brought up Teddy Atlas. You agree with him on this one, But at the same time, this is the
I
same
don't
guy.
agree with him on anything.
But he was the one who scored it for Charlo.
I don't care
on
how
this
he
one.
scored it.
He scored it
I
for
don't listen to
Charlo.
that man. I don't read his.
To me, like,
I don't even
Charlo.
watch ESPN. Like
that's where me and Joe like disagree. Like, to me, I do value his opinion. Like, I do value because he knows. To me, he does.
You know, he had the Charlos 9 and 10 on his top.
Yeah, that's why I was. That's why I told the guys like, I'm interested to see what he does because he talks very he's very honest about how he sees fights based on judging, and he's also a big fan of the Charlo. So like one of these is gonna go, and yeah, he was honest about it. He's like, I didn't see the Charlo Jermel winning, the judges got it right, and so yeah, to me like the one thing that was clear for sure. It was close. Everything's pretty close. The only thing I know that was clear was the bias of these commentators, for sure. That's like, for sure.
Yeah, and we talked about that too, huh? Like how that they're able to manipulate the people by saying those comments. Because even during Saturday, like a lot of times I didn't want to say, oh, this guy won the first round. Doing our live commentary. Yeah. Because I would say after. They turn in the scorecards after, like, the next round is starting because, you never want to make it seem like you're manipulating anybody, the judges or the people listening to the fight. Yeah. So that's why, during that broadcast, I try to say, well, in my opinion, this guy won this round, But because these guys are straight up saying, like, oh, Harrison needs to step it up. Oh, he's not winning this fight. Oh, he's not very active. And then they kept saying, like, oh, look at this superb defense by Charlo. Right? And then he would get popped in the face with a jab. So it's just like...
Bro, come on. Yeah.
That's why, like, as a commentator, you got to be careful because people actually fucking believe these things.
Yeah, especially people that are not, like, as knowledgeable,
And, of course, if you like Charlo, you're going to be like, well, look, everybody had it for Charlo. But, I mean, that's where all the politics comes in.
That's why we were kind of like joking, like, man, we could commentate this thing better, like, honestly, like, at least more like impartial and stuff. And that's something that I really respected Gio from the fights that we called last week. The fighter after the fights came up to us like, oh, what did you guys think? Like, did you guys feel like it was winning? And Gio straight up told them, I was like, no, I'll be honest with you, man. I was like, you lost that fight. So it's like we're gonna tell you like how it is.
But that was just my opinion at the end of the day, right? Because Chris had him winning like. The
first 2 rounds.
Yeah, the first 2 rounds.
And Leo had it on his corner.
Yeah, even that. See, that's why I like Leo Santa Cruz because he's always like he's like humble and honest with you. Like he said, I'm sorry, I'm gonna
have to
contradict you.
Yeah.
But I have the other guy winning the second round, and I agreed with him. But I mean, you can agree and disagree, but still like tell your truth, like from what you saw, right? Yeah. But like we said, the commentators just seemed like they just had an earpiece and were reading off a teleprompter.
You could feel like they seriously fell into groupthink because like in a good commentator group, you're gonna disagree.
Yeah, like, and they agreed with everything that they were saying.
Even
everything.
Even Lennox Lewis, bro, I was disappointed.
That's why even in general too. I tell people if you have friends that agree with you the whole time, you should not be hanging around with them at all. Yeah. That's a red flag to me. I never try to hang out with people who agree with me.
Yeah, that's also boxing lessons right there. Yep. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like we said, a lot of people get emotional and base it based off their emotions, but if you still think Charlo won, just go ahead and watch it again, man. Because how many people actually watch the fight 2 times or 3 times? Yeah. I never react. I try to not to react by what I saw live, because it's different. It's more intense. Let's say you watch it with a group of friends. Yeah. They may even influence what you're, watching, listening to a live commentary. That's why I always go back and watch the fights, by myself. Put the volume down, just chilling, and then you see if you really scored it that way or not.
Yeah, to me, like it's either like what I've noticed for myself is like either watch it as a judge or either watch it as a fan. And if you're gonna watch it as a fan, like don't even try to judge it, just enjoy it. Go back and then watch it as a judge.
And I was just trying to enjoy the fight.
Yeah. Yeah,
because the only reason we judged it is because you came over that day. Yeah. You were coming over.
That was my idea.
And I just happened to be watching the fight. Right, and I was already like on the 3rd or 4th round when I was watching it, just chilling. I wasn't even like really into it like that. But then you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna come over," and so I was like, "All right, I'm gonna pause it." Yeah. And then you're like, "Okay, let's just judge it." A lot of people are talking about this fight, and we're just like, whatever, we're gonna judge it. We might just record a little bit of audio, and then during like the first 4 rounds, I didn't. Yeah, like the first 4 rounds, I didn't record much of audio, right? Because I was like, there's not much going on. And then once we heard the commentators, I just kept that shit rolling. I was like, oh, we're going to record all this because we have a lot to say.
Those fuckers gave us material for days, man. Like, everything they were saying, just one-sided. We're like, what's going on, man? Like, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm glad, the judges, despite all these things, all these theories that people have, that, oh, you have to take it from the champion, or, oh, this guy's the B-side, or this guy's not the champion, he's not the fan favorite, and they still scored it for him, so that, round of applause to the judges, we talk a lot of shit about them, but this time they got it right. I remember we're joking that this time we're getting on the commentators instead of the judges.
That's true. All right, well, with that.
Yeah, but I mean, just watch it again if you still think Charlo won. This time, probably on mute, and this time probably leave your emotions out the door.
What about the main event, that fight?
So that fight, we saw it more like that one we didn't judge. We saw it more as like fans, you can say. I saw Charlo getting caught a lot too. You just see that head snapping back. I seen a lot of people on social media think that he should have lost as well. To me, it was pretty close. I don't really have a definitive winner for that one.
Yeah, I wasn't watching it. Like, you and my brother, I think, were watching it more than me. I was on my computer doing stuff. But every time I would look up, I would see him get caught with that little sneaky left. So, I don't know. And then the judges big time had it for him. So.
Yeah. How did you have it, Chris? Did you
I don't know. I just saw the fight. But I could tell just by how he was before the fight, how he was affected by the scorecard going into the fight.
For sure.
That drained him.
Yeah. That's a little mental distraction there for sure. Just because of how close they are.
But you see, that's where people are not consistent, right? Because the second fight, I heard it was like a very close fight.
And honestly, I think what they need to do, PBC and Al Heyman, they need to get rid of both of those fighters to fight on the same card. They should fight separate cards. They should learn from this and see how, because both clearly, obviously they're both brothers, right? But they have to be on their own event. After this, you see how it can drain somebody.
Yeah, that one affected Jamal a lot.
Yeah, but you see, I didn't hear any people crying about, oh, that was a robbery, because the scorecards are so wide, right? Yeah. But I mean, everybody, whatever is convenient for them, right? Whatever their emotions tell them to do, they'll say. But I mean, it's boxing politics.
Yeah, obviously something that we took away from this is like, they need to like really go back to the drawing board because a lot of their defense was like exposed and stuff. So it was a close fight. It was a good fight. Cordobal fought really well for having a
He's 35 years old, dude.
Yeah,
he's been out for a while. He's been out for a while.
And honestly, like from what I've heard and from what I saw of the fight, if he were to have won the title, I don't think I would have been upset too. Like. He did enough. Like,
I mean, both fights were very close.
What's a mandatory title that he has?
For Jamal?
Yeah, no, Charlo, the one, not Jamal, but the Charlo one.
Oh, the.
Are we talking about which Charlo are we talking about?
So right now we're talking about
160.
160.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
What would be a mandatory for him next? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying if he would have lost, I mean, that title doesn't mean anything. It's a mandatory title.
Yeah, still would have been like a blow to their brand,
That's why, like, when people make a big deal, like, that means that Triple G needs to fight Charlo for him to be the mandatory to fight Canelo. You honestly believe that if Triple G listens and he fights Charlo, that's gonna give him the path to fight Canelo on the clear path? That's not gonna happen.
You would think, but no, he has to sign it.
That's not gonna happen because then what's Canelo gonna do?
Because Canelo controls boxing. That's why.
Not that Canelo. No, not that
he can do whatever he wants. He can fight at 160. He can fight at 168.
No, because
he can fight wherever he wants. And
let me tell you something, Joe.
There's no boxing council that can control him.
Exactly. But my point is that because we already saw what happened after he fought Miguel Cotto, right? After he fought Miguel Cotto, what did he do? He vacated the belt. So it's not like he's gonna go by mandatories. It's not gonna happen.
Exactly, he can do whatever he wants.
That's why. So it's like you're really gonna push Triple G to fight. That's my point. You're really gonna think after stripping him the belt for the 160 this past May, he's actually gonna go according to what the WBC mandatory. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're saying like you don't expect
Triple G to listen after what happened, what transpired in May. So that's why when I hear mandatories and all that, like, come on, that's not being fair to the game at all. It's never gonna be fair outside and inside of the ring.
It's never gonna be fair for like the side that doesn't bring in the most money, for sure. Like these entities, these governing bodies, they're in there for the money, wherever they can, get most of that money, sanctioning fees and stuff. But yeah.
We spent so much time on that.
And the thing is, with this PBC card, it was like 2.4 million views too. So it did good. In fact, not only that, even like the previous PBC fights, that were not part of this deal at all, they never had that much high ratings compared to this one. Yeah. So that's pretty huge because the previous PBC fights, those were under Al Heyman and PBC buying time slotted for the events. This time it wasn't. It was Fox paying for that. So now they got 2.4 million views to justify that price tag of 240 million. So that's pretty good for PBC for their first card. Even regardless of what happened inside the fights, it's good business for Fox. And it's good at the end of the day. When it's good business for Fox, it's just good business for boxing in general.
Well, it's good exposure for them. Yeah, a lot of people were watching these fights, and it hurt the sport a little bit based on the commentary though, because there was that many people viewing the fight. So
no, I mean the same thing too. Like even the garbage commentary with the Zone too. It makes us reflect how HBO was so much different. And I don't know how much.
Not really.
How much?
HBO wasn't as biased. Obviously,
they were. I mean,
they weren't.
Everybody's biased, dude.
Everybody's biased, but like
for your fighter of your network.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, this one was really bad. Shit was really bad for Fox. And already, I mean, outside of boxing, like Fox is already known for being like super one-sided to their interests.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking politics, but yeah, this was bad. But continue, Chris.
No, that's it. There's nothing else to gain from PBC. Yes, they got high ratings.
Yeah, to me, the next, we talked about how they had to have a big show in January, to start off things. To me, it's like they better, I hope somebody talks to them like, hey, you guys need to be a little bit more, unbiased, next time you commentate, because like it kind of showed all over social media. So I agree. Like I understand you're gonna have your favorites, you're gonna have like your interests, but like there's ways to like, push them without sounding so one-sided.
But the thing is, people are gonna. I mean, first of all, for a lot of people, this is the first time they're gonna probably see boxing in general. For a lot of people in the audience, because it's like it's gonna be on Fox, right? Something that not many people actually see, so they could easily be manipulated by.
They're trying to sell them.
And not only that, they could set the whole tone for the remaining of the fights, right? Where these people are credible, right? Because who is it? Who's commentating, right? A former trainer, and more importantly, a heavyweight, right? So like that's something that needs to be raised awareness, and but that's the thing, like. A lot of sports are able to be regulated, but in the sport of boxing, that's what I was telling my friend about. Even like being involved in boxing, even you too and Gio too. Don't expect your hands to be clean the whole time.
Oh yeah.
In this sport, your hands are going to be dirty at some point, and that's one thing they need to reflect about when you go up to a boxer or a judge or even like commentating in general. Like this sport has never been clean, so the fact that it's always been corrupt and dirty. It's so sad because it normalizes for us to justify it to be corrupt.
Reminds me of that one Batman line.
Which one?
The one with Harvey Dent.
What?
I forget how it goes, but it's like you're. It says something like you're the good guy up until like something pushes you to go to the dark side. So.
Yeah, that's normalized for boxing.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, it's just like it just felt very public relation as opposed to like journalism, like where I'm used to. I was like,
yeah, but that's why even Leo gave us a good answer. Like when Chris asked him if you think like former boxers should be judges, and he's just like, dude, everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah. Like
look at Lennox Lewis. That fool was way off. Like I don't trust you just because you used to be a boxer.
That's true, man. You gotta have like really good. You have to have like integrity.
Yeah, you gotta have someone who, integrity, and someone who's not emotional, who's gonna really have nothing in the fight, right? That's why I said, why not go the polar opposite, dude? Put somebody who doesn't watch boxing, because they're not even gonna know the boxers. They're not gonna know who they're judging. They could be the biggest fight in the world, and they probably won't even know it.
Interesting.
And but I mean, like you guys said, it's not regulated. Like there's not a set of rules, right?
Yeah,
like I would tell a person, all right, go in there. If one guy hits the other guy more than the other, he wins the round, and that's it. But these people, ring general shit. Oh, he didn't cut his head off. Oh, this or that. It's like,
And I think at one point technology has to be included in boxing. It's just
it's not though.
At some point it has to, because all sports evolve. Like all sports evolve, and I think the fact
it's too much money in this, man.
Not really. Let me tell you why. Because like people are gonna be watching boxing more occasionally now. When you watch 2.4 million views on what on Fox. How many ratings did the Crawford fight had too? Like 2 point what? But the thing is, like, people are gonna be more
Back to
aware.
who's reporting this, right?
Yeah. People are gonna be looking at those fights more often, and people are gonna call it like Teddy, or people are just gonna be calling it. More importantly, people are gonna be tweeting about it more in social media than before. Than people watch fights on Showtime and HBO, because that's subscribed now, right? So people are gonna be calling it, and people are gonna be looking at the judges more importantly, because at the end of the day, like, people are gonna be mad because they lost money. They lost money on that fight, and people are gonna be calling for somebody's head.
Well, what I got from this show is even most people can be wrong too. Just because most people say one thing, that doesn't mean that it's true, right?
True.
Most people are gonna say Charlo won, but he didn't.
Yep. So they gotta step it up for January for sure. I'm gonna just be watching these fights on mute, doing my own commentary. Shit. All right, you guys want to move on to award season? Chris, let's start us off.
Yeah, so this is our last show of the year. So you guys compile some lists. I'll sit back and listen.
So, yeah, what do you want to start with, Chris?
We could do. Jeez.
I guess we could do the top 10, like the pound for pound at the end.
You want to do that one in the end? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do fighter of the year.
Fighter of the year. Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I think, I mean, there's a good number of names out there that could have won this, but to me personally, I feel Alexander Usyk, fighter of the year for me, just because he unified all titles against Gassiev, and Gassiev was supposed to be this other guy, and a lot of people thought his power was overwhelm Usyk, but no, it was his skills that, got him all those titles. Not just that, he defeated Tony Bellew, who at one time had the heavyweight title, and at least one version of the heavyweight title, who at one time had a piece of the cruiserweight title. So, it was very impressive the way he dismantled him. Even though Bellew was, like, winning the early rounds, you saw Usyk just very composed. You could tell he believed in his skills. He knew that this fight was in reach. And the eighth round came, and he found that knockout. So, very impressed with him this year. To me, he's the fighter of the year for me.
Yeah. I think even if it's not, let me ask you something. Who else would have been fighter of the year if it's not for Usyk?
Not for Usyk. I actually think Arnaud did really great this year.
Obviously we got. There aren't really many people in contention because there weren't many big fights, right?
Yeah.
There were 2 big fights this year in boxing. Canelo won one, but he didn't follow that up in his second fight, against a big name. And then in the second biggest fight, it ended in a draw. So I think by default you have to give it to Usyk, just because he did what he's been doing, right? And he defeated, I guess, a pretty good opponent in Tony Bellew, and he's the undisputed champion at cruiserweight. Yeah. So, I mean, other than that, I wouldn't even know who, because there are many fighters who fight more than twice a year, and there are many fighters who fight big fights even once a year. So,
like Loma, obviously he does his thing every year since he's been fighting. I guess
he fought very good opponents.
Yeah.
Right.
So he probably would be ahead of Canelo for me.
So yeah, that's what's so unfair about us judging Lomachenko, right? That we put him at a high standard, even when a fighter is like undisputed and won a tournament and then is 2-0 and defeated everybody on their division. That, like, for him to win fighter of the year, it's gonna be interesting what's gonna happen next year. But obviously, he'll have to hopefully fight more consistently, probably more than 3 fights now, or Lomachenko.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
But at the end of the day,
nobody fights even 3 times.
No, he's in contention to fight 3 fights in a year. Because
I mean, you have to do it January, middle of the year, in December.
No, because he's gonna be he's already at April.
Yeah.
He's gonna be, so that's the 4th month. So it's possible, especially with ESPN, because ESPN they're gonna try to pile in as much for Crawford and Lomachenko to drive those numbers fast. And ESPN has been losing a lot of money. They have that Disney deal going on, and they're losing a lot of viewerships with all their other shows. So they're gonna have to, if they're gonna invest in the sport that nobody has been wanting to invest, they're gonna want a lot from it.
He can fight 3 times if you give him like a flanecito in December.
That's really unfair. Yeah, with me.
Yeah, if he fights 3 times, then it has to be like a Rocky Fielding type of guy.
Well, he's on his way.
It's not smart to.
He's on his way to be undisputed. Because he's gonna fight the winner.
That's why when Canelo took this fight and people were like, what the fuck? It's just like, dude, you just fought Triple G. Like,
To me, I guess I'm just more upset at Rocky, TBH.
no, but I mean, even like in the Spanish media, it's like, who'd you expect them to fight? Like fucking Callum Smith right after Triple G.
I didn't expect him to fight. But for me, the fight of the year, I'll have Tyson Fury.
Fight of the year?
Yeah. Just because he went 3-0 this year, and by the end of the day too, he was the guy who defeated Klitschko after all this was said and done. So a lot of people were trying to follow up whether or not that Klitschko fight was like a fluke, right? Was it Klitschko that that dominated, or was that Klitschko was just lazy being in that fight? Not necessarily, because we all know who won in that fight against Deontay Wilder. Yeah. So for him to come up and fight Deontay Wilder after coming back, not just what happened outside the ring, but also fighting 3 fights when from summer all the way to December, when in fact it was not Tyson Fury that needed to fight Deontay Wilder. It should have been Anthony Joshua fighting Deontay Wilder. Yeah. So for him to come back and fight Deontay Wilder like that, and he did the same thing with Klitschko, right? Instead of fighting in England, right? He goes to Germany, right? Instead of going to fight in England, what happens, right? He comes over here in LA, right, and does the same thing. What happened with Klitschko? So I have Tyson Fury winning it, just on that perspective.
To me, I considered him. The 2 fights were just more like tune-up fights. So like the one that really mattered, and even though he didn't get it on paper, was against Wilder. But to me, this is more than fighter. To me, like I kind of have him like as a person of the year ish, because it's more than boxing. To be honest.
That's why. And I had, and if it would have not been Tyson Fury, I would have had Usyk.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. See where you're coming from.
And then
I just think Usyk scoring that big knockout kind of solidified it for him, because people can argue, oh, Tyson didn't win even though he won, right? But I mean, I'm just going by what was more convincing to me.
Like other notables, obviously Mikey, he had a good year. Who else? Obviously, we already mentioned Canelo. He had to me, like it was a great performance against Triple G. Like I said before, I thought he won that second fight, more convincingly, at least to my eyes. So.
Yeah, and I think if Lomachenko was rated the number 1 pound for pound already, I think most people would have said him, because he had 2 tough opponents who were bigger than him physically, and then even after getting injured, he still won his fight against Pedraza. So it's pretty impressive. I'll probably have a number 2.
Yeah. After surgery, too.
Alexis, who do you have fight of the year? We're going to do a little one for you.
Roma, man.
Well, there you go. See?
There you go.
I think those are the only 4 options that you could come up for this year. Honestly, nobody else reaching for a 5th one.
That's why when you guys rated the year like a B+, I was like, what? Who fought?
No, it's just well, that's another subject. I'm not even going to go into it. But for...
The standards are so low nowadays, and we'll get to that once we say our pound for pound.
Trainer of the year?
Trainer of the year.
Of course, dude.
Abel?
Eddie Reynoso, man. What the hell? Come on, man.
You say Eddie? Canelo team?
Team Canelo.
Okay, you say Eddie?
Nah, I'm going to say
Fuck that.
Ben Davison,
Davidson.
Tyson Fury's.
Okay. I had Ben Davison tied, but with Anatoly Loma, but I think Anatoly more because
I was thinking about him. Like, people don't give him credit, dude.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say Anatoly.
He's never gonna get credit.
Oh, of course not. Every time you train your son.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Anatoly just because of who. Like, when's the last time you've had 3 fighters like win a major title? Obviously, like respect to like Eddie and to Ben Davison because they did an amazing job as well. But as a trainer, it's not like just one fighter; it's multiple fighters. So
who do you have it then?
Anatoly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I have Ben Davison.
Respect.
Yeah, it's just a lot going. I think it's because we saw what could happen if you're not a trainer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not that you don't have to be a trainer. Like that's one thing about what Anthony was talking about. When your trainer is there in the ring, right? They don't give a shit, right? If they're gonna throw in the white towel. But in this case, like with Ben Davison, he was there throughout before the fights even started. I mean, he was with him during the big fight of his life. So that's who I have for trainer of the year.
Yeah, I guess you could say like on a tactical aspect, more like Anatoly just because he spoke with 3, but Ben Davison he wasn't just his trainer, man. He was like his mentor. He was like his friend, and that's different aspects of a coach, of a trainer that, pretty much saved his life.
And I like that he came out of nowhere, because there are a lot of people saying, like, why would he have a 26-year-old on this corner? I'm like, man, dude, shut the fuck up. Like,
it's one of those things, dude. You know what it is? You know what it is? What it reminds me?
Yeah.
So I'm not want to go in different like sport, but even with the St. Louis Rams, the LA Rams,
Yeah.
they hire like Sean McVay, this young, this young coach, and people were bashing him, and now he's like one of the top coaches. Now he's like, and at the same time too, even when we're at work, when people are not gonna like this, but just being in general, sometimes being young at work is kind of a drawback for somebody elderly who's like your manager, not trying to listen to you.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, you have to have your, always disrespect. Like that. I don't want to say the M word, but just like being young in this age, it's kind of like you have to take your stepping stone. But sometimes, like when I see Ben Davidson,
But that's like in general, dude. Because even people now, like older people, they just kind of ignore kids, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's like a whole different topic.
It is.
But
I know it is.
It's the same thing.
It's
'Cause
an
I used to
Anthony
work with
conversation.
kids, and I try to listen to them, even if they're saying dumb things. But it's just like it's a kid, dude. And at the end of the day, that's the future of.
and that's my point with regards to what Freddie Roach was talking about. Like kind of putting his own input as far as I'm not saying anything about Freddie Roach, but I'm just saying like it's interesting how
He's discounting him a little bit, right?
in some way,
Yeah.
but I get what Freddie Roach is trying to say. Yeah,
To me,
but
it's like
They're both a little right to me.
yeah,
I
they're
get
both
it,
right and
yeah.
they're both wrong.
But to me, like someone brings you in, you gotta have like
Yeah.
a little level of respect where you don't step on, you know.
But at the same time, it's like, do you want someone to be honest with you, or do you want them to just keep it to themselves?
Yeah.
But to me, that's one of the things that you just say behind closed doors.
Or to
Not to the
each
media.
other.
Yeah, you
Because
don't
if
do
that's
it
the
in
first time
yeah.
for them hearing that, they're like, yo, what the fuck?
That's
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to. That's
I
that's
wouldn't be
the point.
surprised if Freddie wasn't in that corner for his next match. But
Yeah, I saw a headline where even Ricky Hannon was disappointed. I didn't
Yeah.
click on it, but
I'll be honest, I was one of those people that like when I saw this is months back before the whole Wilder period. Like I read that he had this coach, 26-year-old, and I was like, what the fuck, this was really going off. Like
Each must be.
I was like, no. At first I was like, it's too young, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
why is he getting such a young trainer? I was
No,
like,
I never looked.
But
at it
then,
like
yeah, but to me,
that's
once
one
I
of the
saw-
reasons why I was rooting for that Team Wilder, dude.
Yeah,
I
but-
mean, Team Fury.
Yeah, but once I saw they got access and I saw how like
Yeah.
how happy he was, how much fun he was
Yeah.
having, how, like they were both
It's
smiling, the whole
everything.
team. I was like, damn, dude, that's I got chills when I saw that episode because I was
Yeah.
like, dude, like
And that's one
he's
aspect
happy,
that
man. He's like a
that's
happy
one.
fighter's a dangerous fighter.
Yeah, the whole epilogue and the whole episodes was converting me to go to Fury. That's what, because that's what happened. We don't see that. Like
Yeah.
nobody's gonna see how many times you go to the library studying. Nobody sees how many times you go to the gym, right? Nobody sees what happens outside the lines. So who do you have for prospect of the year?
For prospect of the year, I got Teofimo Lopez. Yeah, he was just impressive in every single like bout that he was in.
He's knocking everyone out.
Yeah, he was just like his skills, his quickness, his power. Like obviously he's a little like after he knocks him out, his little celebration, everything was like exciting. So yeah, he's
We need more people like that in the sport, man.
no, he's
that man.
so now like honestly like now it's like damn, I gotta see like his next
What's so
fight.
impressive about him too is that he's doing this on national television.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not scared to be on TV, right?
Yeah.
He's also a character himself too. Like
You know what's crazy? Every punch I saw him throw, I thought he was gonna knock the other guy out. I was like, damn, dude.
I think if you
And
look
they
at her-
sound loud. If you hear him, it's
look
just
at
like,
his numbers.
damn.
I'm pretty sure like those punches mean something. I would like to see his numbers, how effective they are.
Yeah.
And he calculates them.
Yeah, he doesn't waste a lot of his punches.
He doesn't.
So that's unanimous prospect.
To me,
I would agree. I wouldn't disagree with you.
yeah, I'll go with Lopez.
Yeah.
And
Brian Garcia, close second.
they both this year were 4-0. Brian Garcia and Lopez, but I just give the edge to Lopez.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I want to say Eddie, because Ryan Garcia looked good compared to his last fight.
Yeah.
He looked good in this fight.
Yeah.
But give him more time.
Yeah.
So who do you have it for knockout of the year?
Well, since we're on that topic already, I'm giving it to Teofimo Lopez again. That last one
Yeah.
he did, bro. I've never seen. I haven't seen like someone like lose their soul.
Yeah. And
just-
trust me, I was actually
Man.
thinking about it, dude. But there's this fighter. You have to go YouTube this. It's a Melendez.
Johnny Espino?
No, it's no. It's not gonna be here.
It's a close second.
Yeah, would it be?
It's up there, man.
Yeah. Melendez versus Laredo. You have to go to YouTube, dude. So this guy knew he was gonna get knocked out.
What do you mean? You were like, it was
Like the guy threw combinations, and I've never seen this in my life. Where the guy was getting punched with combinations, he was running away already. Like he was running away.
like his guard. Like
You
he's
will
like,
be
"Ah,
watching this right now on YouTube.
No, it wasn't like, okay, let's say like I throw 1, 2, right? and then you're running already because you're like, damn, this guy already is gonna beat me up. So as soon as you're running away, the fighter Melendez starts running up to him and he gets him, dude. Like 1, 2, he just dies in the floor, dude. I never see somebody run away from a knockout, dude. Like he knew he was gonna die. He was trying to run, dude, and Melendez caught him. So you have to look it up. Melendez versus Laredo. Yeah, Melendez knocked over the year for me. You gotta watch it, dude. I was crying when I was watching it.
Yeah. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, please do.
Did you knock
It'll be on YouTube. Don't worry. It'll be on the clip.
So you agree with my?
Yeah, I agree with Teofimo, but
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention Usyk's knockout on Tony Bellew because that's anytime there's a big knockout in a big fight, I think it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
But that Teofimo, oh my god, that guy was, he was asleep and he was still on his feet. It was bad.
But the thing is, because there was, and I was gonna have that as my knockout, but there was a lot of those this year. That's why I sent you the top 50 on that video. There was a lot of those where people just died like that. But this one, I've never seen a fighter where you can see his eyes. He's about to get knocked out, so he's trying to run away. He's trying to run away,
I'll
dude.
check that out.
You know which one I like? That Cobra Reese one.
Oh.
Remember you guys sent it to me right on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
That was
yeah, I sent it
savage,
to you.
man.
Yeah, I sent it to you. I'm like,
And then
was that this year?
I think was it? Yeah, it had to be this year, huh?
Damn, dude.
Yeah, the
Put him
other
in
girl
coffin,
landed
dude.
like in front of us, dude. And then the camera guy like caught her because she was gonna fall off
Yeah,
the
he was
ring.
doing 2 jumps.
That was bad. Yeah, but I like that Teofimo one because this is an interesting name. But
Yeah.
I liked it because everything, like as soon as he knocked him out, he did like 3 celebrations. Like that was exciting.
Yeah, he's gonna. A lot of people already know him.
Yeah, a lot of kids know him because they love that game.
He did like the CR7 celebration and started doing other shit that I don't know
The
what it was.
Heisman.
But
Oh, yeah.
He's
Alright.
tapping into like all the age ranges and shit.
He knows.
Yeah,
He's
smart man.
Yeah, he's a smart man. So after that, then you have fight of the year.
Fight of the year. Okay, so I have 2. I mean, obviously there's a lot, but like 2 that stand out. One because of dramatics, and the other one just it was just a good action fight for me. So, fight of the year. I like Wilder Fury based on the dramatics. It wasn't necessarily like a super even fight, but it was just so dramatic and what each.
I think Wilder could have made it better.
Yeah, but like what each like we were tuning in every single second just because we know like what Wilder could do.
The heavyweights, dude.
We just knew like any second like he could have changed his fight, and he did on like in the round 9, 9-12. So to me, that one was just based on dramatics, and obviously the knockdown, and you were there, and we saw this like the first time we saw it in theaters on big screen. So yeah, that one just because it's the most memorable, for me, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Canelo Triple G was just action packed. Obviously, like way better than the first. That's the one where Canelo gained some respect, To me, like I was like, damn, this guy can fight. Even though, like, to me, I was surprised because he looked thinner, but still just as strong in this fight. It's still just as dangerous, and obviously, like.
Same thing with Wilder, huh? He looked thinner, but he was still still had the strength.
So yeah, what about you, Chris?
I had the Wilder versus Fury. It's just like it puts us in perspective, like how boxing could be if there's 2 good heavyweights fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like it does, like that fight. Nobody's gonna remember Canelo versus Triple G.
Right.
People are gonna remember Deontay Wilder
I
versus
am.
Fury.
You're a Triple G fan, of course.
It's just we saw what the heavyweight's all about.
Yeah, that's when you notice
Knocking
like.
out. Knocking out.
Yeah, that's when you notice like. Yeah, like the heavyweights when the heavyweight division is good,
That's when
it's
boxing
excellent.
is good in general.
And it was like I said, it wasn't necessarily like a good tactical fight or like because Wilder was just getting freaking, dominated, but it was just like those moments like that stick with you in your head and your memories. 10 years from now, like what are we gonna remember?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. You?
Yeah, I'm giving the edge to Canelo against Triple G. I mean, you have the biggest star in boxing, Vegas, pay-per-view, biggest fight in a long time. It was like old school, dude.
Yeah.
2 middleweights going toe-to-toe, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it was more action-packed than the Wilder.
So Canelo's
Fury,
taking
but
all the awards
the-
on your side, right? The trainer, and then
Oh, he's nominating in every single
Yeah.
Gio's.
Yeah, he had a good year.
must be in Golden Boys promotions.
Yeah.
Pockets for sure. We need to check your
I
pockets
forgot
on
my
that.
Golden Boy water bottle.
I'm already diffused my DAZN subscription.
I like poking you guys because
We
you guys
already
get so
see-
emotional when
we
I talk about
already
Canelo.
Dude, honestly,
I don't even.
he had a good year because for you to get to get tested and then come back and have that end of 6 months, like it's pretty good. You have a pretty good PR team behind you for sure.
Yeah, what was the biggest fight? Like I said, in a long time, and even if you don't watch boxing, you were watching this fight some way or another, and it put boxing, back in mainstream.
Yeah.
We hadn't had a fight like that in a while.
No, yeah, for sure. Canelo Triple G2 was exciting. I just remember everything was great about it. From Canelo dominating a lot of the early rounds to Triple G there was a moment where he was discounting Triple G, saying he's getting old overnight, and then he came back with some really, really strong rounds. Obviously, I think in that fight, I think Triple G hurt Canelo the most, and I believe it was round 9.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, and that's the most I think Canelo hurt, but then Canelo just came back too, and it was a good fight, man.
Yeah, you're just not gonna see a fight like that in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might, but it's gonna take some time. But I think part of the reason why that type of fight takes time to develop is because you have to have 2 fighters that need to marinate. Obviously, right?
Yeah, and you need 2 stars, and today, like we said, in my opinion, still the boxing superstar is dead, right? It's very hard because even Canelo, right? Obviously Golovkin can't compare to him financially, in terms of superstardom, but I mean he still was a star for people who actually know boxing.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, those 2 for sure up there.
Is there another? Okay, yeah, I could probably make the case for Usyk versus Bellew.
No, that'll probably be the third one.
Yeah, I can make an argument for that.
Yeah.
Just because it makes things in perspective. Even for somebody who doesn't have to be boxing, right? At some point you're gonna meet your maker, and it's up to you if you want to take it the easy way as your last fight or the easiest way to leave your job, right? And just settle. But Tony Bellew was nah.
We talked about this before the fight.
Went on a suicide mission, man.
No, that's.
He's if I survive this bomb, I'm a fucking god.
And we said it he was already talking about retirement no matter what happened. Or it doesn't really.
But the thing is, even him going into you saw the ring entrances and everything, all that was intimidating, dude.
Dude, that's why I want to go to Europe. We gotta catch a fight in Europe because those British fans, man. Yeah.
That's their culture. That's the thing with boxing in USA. There is no culture, and even in sports in general too.
Yeah, that's why baseball and football are the most popular sports, right? You can just sit and just clap a little bit, eat your popcorn and your hot dogs,
and everything is guaranteed in those sports. In boxing, there is nothing guaranteed. That's why I say boxing can go out of business the next day. That's what Dana White said, and he's true. He's true about that. But yeah. So that's why I feel we had some good fights for it to be credible for me to judge this year with that type of great level for this end of the year. We had great fights. We had a lot of drama, and I think Deontay Wilder and Fury kind of summed it up towards the end. The potential that could be what happened next year. We haven't even had Joshua step up with that's fucking true. Yeah, and then we had a fighter of the year, fight of the year, trainer of the year, prospect of the year, knockout of the year, and
how about this event of the year?
I don't have anything for event of the year.
I'll start it off. There's 2 event of the year, anything that could be even outside of boxing or outside of the square circle. To me, there's 2 things that come to mind. Number 1 would be HBO out of boxing, the last fight card. So that was big. And the other one is the introduction of the zone. That obviously had to do something with HBO stepping out because that kind of happened. HBO kind of made a decision. They've been hinting that they were getting out, but I feel the introduction of the zone kind of solidified that the boxing is moving toward a more digital mobile platform, and so those 2 would be the big.
And the signings that they made, because you didn't expect them to get the signings they did. You expected them to kind of have a slow start.
Yeah.
But they got good names in there.
Yeah, this one obviously got Canelo and Joshua. So yeah, to me those are obviously the events of the year.
Yeah, I would agree with you on the HBO. That's big.
Damn, yeah. We went to the actual last fight, right, Chris? And that was, man.
And there was 55 people there, but
yeah, that was,
you guys were there.
Yeah, the real ones were there. Shit. Anthony Sims Jr. was in the building too, paying respects. Yeah, no, it was.
For 45 minutes and then he left.
Yeah, but no, it was obviously like we weren't. I mean, this card in particular, we weren't, there necessarily for the names, but for the commentators that have always been the voices of HBO. For Jim, for
I already know you have a crush on Max.
Max. Max is cool. He's a smart guy. Obviously, I know Jill feels some type of way because of basketball and everything, but
I don't care about him.
And Roy Jones and who else came back? Larry Merchant came back for a little bit. So no, it was fitting. Obviously, we would have loved to have seen more people there, but
No.
It was
There was a lot of women-known boxers there. Even Chris Cyborg from USC was there.
Yeah, she was there. Your favorite one too, right?
Hammer, Christina Hammer.
Chris has a big crush on
Lady Hammer, she was there. She's gonna get it sometime. Between Clarissa Shields, Cecilia was there. Layla Ali was supposed to be there, but she got in a car accident. But just in general, I think that might be the event of the year. When not that final event, but the event of the news being out there, like, oh, this is last, no more HBO.
Yeah, because it was initially supposed to be in November as the last show, but they were like, nah, they're pushing it. They pushed it till December, which is, I mean, again,
12th round.
12th round. So yeah, I'll miss hearing those voices for sure, especially after this PBC commentary. I'm like, wow, man, I miss these guys already. Yeah,
It's not so much about the commentators, but it's just the production.
The production value.
Of the quality that HBO is going to have compared to... Because now it's according to their own standards for the mainstream audience to be aware of what boxing is supposed to be, according to their own standards, right? HBO had a different standard because obviously came with integrity, because HBO doesn't just do fights, right? They also do movies and like series and shows like that. So they always set a standard that nobody else can compare.
Yeah.
And even with Showtime too, they do all those stuffs too with HBO, but it's never been the same level as HBO. That's why Showtime has always been the B side.
Yeah. Showtime is good, but like they're like you said, B side.
I remember growing up, they were nothing, dude.
Yeah.
It was all HBO.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, so that's... Yeah, I don't think anything else for prospects or for events for next year, but... So now you have top 10 pound for pound fighters. Do you want to go, or you want me to go, or...
Okay, I'll start. Top 10 pound for pound.
You're not gonna tell us ESPN's top 10, Chris?
So this is just
I'll give you Ring magazine.
This is my top
In other
10.
words, your list, huh?
So top 10. Obviously, like 1 through 5 are a little bit easier to do than
No, do 10.
Top 10.
Yeah.
So I got
from 10 go
10,
from
10 to 1.
Go from 10 to 1.
Okay. 10 and 1. Number 10, Anthony Joshua. Number 9, I got Tyson Fury. Just because he stepped up to the other. Number 8, Naoya Inoue. That guy's a beast. Number 7, Sor. I can't even see his last name, but Sor. Number 6, I got Triple G. Number 5, I got Mikey. And number 4, I got Usyk. 3, Terrence Crawford. And obviously number 2 and number 1, Canelo Alvarez and Vasily Lomachenko. My top 10.
So for me, for number 10, I have Spence.
Okay.
Soren B-side, number 9. Mikey Garcia, number 8. Tyson Fury, number 7. Anthony Joshua at 6. Number 5, Canelo. Number 4, Triple G. Number 3, Usyk. Number 2, Crawford. And number 1, Lomachenko.
Okay.
That was brought to you by ESPN.com.
That's a pretty good list.
All right, so I'm gonna start with 1 just because that's undisputed, right? And I'm gonna give you actually my top 4, 5 through 10. I mean, it was hard to fill up my list just because level of boxing is so low right now. I mean, I even mentioned this before, like the names 10 years ago, like who were top 10, right? It was like Floyd, Mayweather, Pacquiao, the Klitschko's, Juan Manuel Marquez, Sergio Martinez, Miguel Cotto, right? I think like all those guys would probably be number 1 today. But even if you go like 15 years back, you have like Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya, Hopkins, Trinidad, Roy Jones Jr., right? It was easy to fill up your list. With this one, I had trouble because I'm like, I don't even know if I can fill it up, dude. So I would just say 1 through 4. Obviously, number one.
Wait, so you don't have even 1 through 10?
I'll
You
I
don't
get
have-
to it.
Okay.
Number one, Vasily Lomachenko, 12-1, 9 knockouts, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 3-time World Division champion. He owns wins over Gary Russell Jr., Roman Rocky Martinez, and Nicholas Walters at junior lightweight, and Rigondeaux too. And then he just beat Linares at lightweight. I mean, that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Number 2, Canelo, 51-1, 35 knockouts, 3-time division champion. He owns wins over Shane Mosley, Austin Trout, Erislandy Lara, Miguel Cotto, and Gennady Golovkin. And actually, I think he's the youngest one in my top 4. Because the next one, it was pretty tough, but I have Alexander Usyk, 16-0, 12 knockouts. He won a gold medal at the heavyweight division in London, 2012. He fought 4 undefeated fighters on his way to unify the cruiserweight division. And he, like we said last, he beat Tony Bellew, right? Number 4, Mikey Garcia, 39-0, 30 knockouts, 4-time division champion. He owns wins over Orlando Salido, Juan Manuel Lopez, Roman Rocky Martinez, Adrian Broner, and Sergey Lipinets. He was interesting because he was show for 2.5 years with that whole dispute with Top Rank, so he lost a lot of time there. But he recently unified the 135 division, and only 2 other guys have won titles at 126, 130, 135, and 140. You guys want to guess that? Who that was?
Pacquiao.
That's one.
126 is it?
Yeah, 126, 130, 135, and 140.
I want to say Marquez.
Yeah, Marquez.
Yeah.
You know, only they've done that. From 5 to 10, you can really put anybody, honestly, because I don't think none of the other guys really had big fights this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like your Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury picks. I don't know where I would put them, but they would be up there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just throw out some names. You can include them really 5 through 10 if you want, in whatever order. But Gennady Golovkin, Naoya Inoue, Soren Visai, Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Crawford,
I think it's a cherry.
Anthony Joshua, and/or Tyson Fury, and I'll still reserve a spot for Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao can come. Depends on what happens on this year. And, yeah, because he fights in January, so he could probably fight, like, how many fights this upcoming year?
And I'm sure he's going to get a bigger fight than Broner.
Yeah.
I see this as like a tune-up fight, see where he's at. I mean, he just beat Matissa, but Matissa's kind of on his way out, so.
Well, he's a Al Heyman, so usually they just fight twice a year. But no,
Yeah.
man, he's going to try to push it for a third one in his body.
If he needs the money.
He does a lot of charity work, guys. So, yeah, like 2 to 3 times, let's say, he fight.
Yeah, probably Gabomi. He fights in January.
You want to give us your list now, Chris?
I did already.
Oh, I thought that was ESPN's. That was in Teddy Atlas?
It's funny. No, it's funny because, like, I was looking at everybody's, like, other, like, Sports Illustrated and CBS and Ring Magazine. Like, everybody has a different top 10 list. It's like, it's always... That's why.
Yeah,
like,
that's why I couldn't even fill in my top 10 because
Yeah.
it's difficult.
it's just
especially in
different.
today's boxing where
Yeah.
guys don't even really fight each other.
Yeah, it's like, it's all different. It's all subjective and like, and at the end of the day, like, when I think about pound for pound, like, it's never been top 10 at all. It's always been like top 1. That's it. Like, nobody gives a shit about number 2.
Well, now, yeah, because you can't fill it up.
Like, nobody cares about number 3.
Because back then you had like Pacquiao number 2 or like Roy Jones Jr. number 2.
Yeah.
Now it's like, it doesn't really matter because there's no names out there.
That's the thing too. Like, nobody knows who's number 2, number 3 back like 5 years, 4 years. I don't care about that. It's always been. That's why, like, even Lomachenko, like, as far as like being him fighter of the year this year is kind of hard with the standard that we're giving him.
Yeah.
Whether it's unfair to take a step back. Maybe he should be fighter of the year.
Yeah, with me, number 1 through 4, like, that was easy-ish. to like come up with. Yeah, it was like the 5 to 10 that they're in the mix, kind of like what you said. They're there. It doesn't matter what order, but they're in that mix. Pacquiao, like, to me, he's just coming back. So I know a lot of people are gonna be like, how do you not have Pacquiao in the top 10? It's like we'll see. Like after January, he's probably gonna crack in there for mine list. Obviously depending on how he deals with Broner, but yeah, subjective.
Yeah, I'm glad heavyweights are included though, because they're never included in any list recently.
And I didn't have Tyson before, but man, after what happened,
Man, right after the fight, I was like, oh, I have Tyson in my new top 10. You guys just looked at me like, what the fuck?
No, I agree. I was like,
It's on video, man.
Yeah, to me, Tyson's like, if there's a comeback of the year award, that would be his, without a doubt.
Yeah, like I said, he beat Klitschko and then he beat Wilder now. Those are like two of the top names in their, in their years. Now, see what Joshua can do.
Another, I've had to give like a team award. If there was a team award, if you guys wanted to go into that, I would give it to the Ukrainians, because that's 3 champions, simultaneously. It's been a while since you've had like one. I mean, other than Lomachenko before this, it's been a while since you had like, other than the Klitschko's, Ukrainians like on the map, and so like to have all 3 of them as champions right now, that's pretty big. That's like
Doing things right, man.
Yep. We just signed up as the Chori to go train with Anatoly.
Send him to the cold. Down to the mountains.
A rocky montage.
Anything else to add, or that's it?
You want to do like your wish list or
wish list?
or something that you would wish you or predictions?
Dude, honestly, I wish just like I wish my biggest wish, honestly, is that people who are now involved watching boxing to pressure fighters, because boxing has always been a community of. When I say community, it's always been like these YouTube channels covering the sport. But now, which is kind of funny now, it's kind of like it's been nothing but independent labels doing the sport, the business. But now it's all these big brands, right? Where it's ESPN and Fox taking over these independent media labels, right? And when that happens, right, with these independent channels, with like what, Five Hive, they're sharing it at the, and not the casual boxers, but they're looking at the people who actually watch boxing. But now you have a larger audience, right? In this case, ESPN and Fox. And I want those people.
What do you mean larger audience?
The 2.4.
In what sense?
The 2.4 million. Those numbers. I'm talking about those numbers. Yeah, because
those are all subjective too. But what are you trying to say? Because ESPN is not covering boxing like that. Fox isn't either. So I don't get what you're trying to say.
Here's what I'm trying to say.
You think the fan base for boxing has grown, or what are you saying?
There's nothing to argue about this. What I'm
saying. What are you trying to say? You gotta be clear.
Just listen, dude. If you watch YouTube channels, right, they don't give a big audience, right, as compared to ESPN and Fox Sports, right? So what I'm trying to say, my big wish, right, is
in what way?
Listen, Gio.
In what way?
Listen, Gio. What I'm saying is, for ESPN and Fox, those 2 networks, now you're going to have a different type of population, right? And what I want is for those audience to put pressure on the fighters to fight the fight that we all want them to fight.
Okay, I go.
You know what I mean? Because us, as watching this channel, Fight Hub, ES News, we already know the boxing politics, or that fight can't happen because such and such. But now that this big audience, right, whether it's ESPN, Fox, will have the opportunity to watch these fights and free, for those audience members to put the pressure on these fighters, because they never watched boxing in general before, like we have watched boxing in these independent media channels. That's my biggest wish, where all these big conglomerates, monopoly, whatever you want to call it, ESPN and Fox, now taking over boxing, the people who watch these fights to put pressure.
So you're saying more people are watching, in other words.
What I'm saying is that to put those people to push back on the fighters. You know what I mean?
So you're saying more people are going to watch, and you want those people to put pressure on.
Pressure.
A different audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen, because I don't know if more people are actually going to watch.
At the end of the day,
networks.
That's why
we have people who had HBO or Showtime.
No, but those too, but nobody has them. See, Showtime.
Well, before
HBO,
you had to more people used to have it.
Yeah,
now cable.
But you know what I'm saying?
Cable's kind of dying.
You're telling me, what's your wish? That's my wish right there. Because when
So you want the newbies to put pressure on?
Yeah, because it's a lot of numbers. Yeah. It's a lot of numbers. And when you're coughing up 240 million, you want those numbers to be high.
Yeah, I get what you mean. To me, it's like it would have to start with like the Max Kellermans of ESPN, like those people that have that platform to say something. Like we need to see that. Like obviously,
Because I don't know if the newbies are really gonna care about the sport like that.
They're just gonna check in, check out,
watch the fight,
subscribe.
They probably won't even stay long
even,
for the decision to even be said. They're probably just watch the fight and.
And I already know. Look, I already know your. What I'm gonna say, I already know there's gonna be some sort of emotion, some sort of opinion. Take those two things away, but just keep this in mind. First of all, we don't want this individual to cover boxing, but he's part of the equation as far as bringing a larger audience. So in this case, as much as we give a big blowback on Stephen A. Smith, right? So when this guy starts talking boxing, it's not that he's gonna be sharing a small community as far as when it comes to Fight Hub and like ES News. No, this guy is gonna bring a huge audience. So now it's even pushed back on that fool, right? Not a fool, but I'm talking about when he says stupid stuff that's ridiculous, right? To push back on him and criticize him just like we criticize the commentators if he's being biased. So now as much as we're trying to criticize the commentators, we also have to criticize not just the networks too who cover the sport now. Because they used to be criticizing these independent media outlets, but now ESPN and Fox. And you guys are already doing it with this fight right here. Yeah.
To me, it's just the... I get what you're saying. To me, it's like...
but at the end of the day, that's not going to stop because who's cutting that check? Yeah. The network, so...
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you. That's why I made the power play last week when it comes down to who do you think is going to have the power move? The Zone or Golden Boy Promotions at the end of the day towards the end of Canelo's later stage? Because if you're telling me that he's cutting that at the end of the day,
I'm talking about the commentators. Because you can get rid of the commentators. You can't get rid of Canelo. Yeah.
The thing is, I'm pretty sure nobody knows the contract of that Zone. Trust me, I worked for a lawyer for 4 years, and we look at the contracts really crazy to see if there's some sort of loophole. And I'm sure the Zone will not tie in themselves up with 365 millionaires.
I get what Gio's saying. Like you're gonna see a lot of the people saying like these commentators like were horrible. They're gonna get they're como se say, what's the word, they're replaceable. Like
one of them speaks up, just get rid of them and get a new one. Like it doesn't matter.
Like it's kind of tough. It's tougher for fans to put pressure on fighters because it's like, dude, they kind of like they can dictate the sport. Like they can decide where they fight. And obviously, like I get what you're saying. Like you want, since it's a bigger number of broader audience, they're bringing in more dollars because it's network. Like they should be able to be like, hey, we really want to see these fights, or else we're not going to tune in. Yeah. Is what you're saying, right? So.
And the thing is, and those people are going to be putting money on the fights. Yeah. And if they're losing, because you can't. That's the thing. And basketball and football and baseball, hockey, it's never gonna end. It's never gonna end in a draw. It's never. You're always gonna have a binary, whether you win or you lose. In boxing, you can lose if you even put if you can put money on a draw, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. The way I see this is like. What's he saying? Like Gio's like a lot of these people are not gonna. They don't care enough to like get to.
It's just wasting energy, really, because it's never gonna change.
I feel like the casuals are just gonna be like they don't care enough. Like the true people that care about and that want to change are the diehard fans. And like the most we can do is like, we're gonna boycott until things change. But
I like the drama though. It adds drama to the sport. It gives us a chance to talk shit about them. But I mean, it's not gonna change at the end of the day.
I think something is gonna come out of it because when you put pressure and seeing these type of like fighters fighting big networks,
boxing has been having fights on big networks forever.
On Showtime and HBO, but it's never.
It used to be.
It used to be back in 1980s. Yeah, 1980s. Yeah, those were the glory days, dude. That's when everybody was watching boxing like all the time. People will like even you watch that epilogue, right? The third episode. I think it was the Nick Saban, the coach from Alabama. He's like, man, back then people were listening on the radios. Like you'll have 10 people on the radio just listening to the biggest fights. That's how it's going to be now. But now it's on social media.
Yeah.
Well, it's different now because you don't really have superstars. Like you said, the big numbers they're going to bring in. I mean, they're not really going to be big numbers.
And the thing is, you don't have to have. But the thing is, all you have to see. The thing is, what's so different about boxing now is social media. That's one thing we see with Ryan Garcia exposing. He's representing boxing in the mainstream now online, and that's going to put a lot of pressure now because people could talk. What do you call those people? Keyboard
There's always
warriors.
been pressure though
you know
about
what I mean?
Fights.
No, but in this sense,
How many times did they pressure Mayweather to fight Pacquiao? At the end of the day, they could do whatever they want.
Not
they,
towards
they
the
run
end.
the sport.
No, that's what I mentioned last week.
The stars run the sport.
No, that's what I'm. Last week was what Les Movements when I was brought up about CBS. He was the one who pushed the fight for Pacquiao and Mayweather in the end. Well, let's see what happens. But that's my wish. What's your wish?
My wish? Okay, my wish for next year. I want one of these. One of these is the media. Just take a lot of the stuff from HBO, a lot of the quality, and try to put it out there. I'm not sure if it's gonna happen. I doubt it is, but if I can have one thing, is that it's the quality of storytelling, of music, of like the thing that connects you to these fighters, not just watching a fight. Because anybody can watch a fight, but it's like, to me, the thing that makes people fall in love with boxing is that emotional connection. Feeling like, oh fuck, like rooting for that one guy because it's what they bring to the sport outside, their families, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if they could bring that to me, like I told you guys, the one time I kind of felt that they showed that was in the epilogue and in the All Access.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn, that shit was a fucking badass episode.
No, one thing I like about HBO was the face-offs.
Yeah.
Always, and then you have copycats up in England doing that too. But face-offs were always my thing with HBO. That's what like set the tone outside the ring.
Like the 24/7s, that shit was sick. Like the La Vida Mayweather, that shit was sick. Like the fight was like, to be honest, it was like, but just like the whole build-up was.
In fact, and next time we do this, we should do an homage. We should make sure we set down like Max Kellerman and the fighters. You know how they set the chairs all opposite, like a face-off, just to pay respect of HBO.
But to me, it's like that standard. That's my wish for them to to emulate and try to take away from HBO,
Yeah.
and bring that standard back. Yeah. How about you, Gio?
Shit, I don't know. 'Cause I don't see much happening next year, based on the fights that we already have in the first quarter.
But it's a wish list. It's more like, if you could, what would you want?
Well, I was, like I said, Joshua against the top heavyweights. I don't care if it's Wilder. I don't care if it's Fury. But that's probably not going to happen until the end of the year in 2020. I think 2020 is when a lot of the fights are going to be made.
Yeah.
So next year, I mean,
that's what I'm telling you. I'm mentally ready for Spence Crawford, for Anthony Joshua Wilder. That's a big election. I think 2020 can.
Well, because these guys can't generate money yet. That's why. Yeah, so you got to marinate. You got to. I mean, these guys. I want to say they're young, but they're like 30 years old, dude. Back then at 26, you could be a star already. Now it's just like, I don't know how these fools, I don't know what they do, man. But they don't know how to promote themselves, or it's crazy. Like I said, like I mentioned, Canelo is the youngest in my top 4 pound for pound. Yeah. And it's like, dude, these guys are fucking 30-something years old and they're barely trying to get big fights. I don't know.
That's a point. All right. Anything else?
Oh, yeah. I got some random news.
Oh, here we go.
Let me look it up a little bit. So we fell asleep this past December, I want to say 13 or 8, forgot when. Did you know that the game UFC 3 just came out with an update?
UFC 3? No.
Yep. They came out with Andre Bishop and what's the other guy?
Like Cross Swords or something.
Isaac Frost.
What was that?
Isaac Frost and Bishop, both Fight Night fighters. They updated them to be on UFC 3.
So they have boxers now on.
Yeah, so a lot of people are speculating that they're putting them as an update, so see how the audience people reflect on that, so it could branch out to making another Fight Night game. So hopefully it does pick up with what happened with Sergio's with Creed. And this fight, I think you wouldn't do that unless you're experimenting something. Why all of a sudden, dude? Fight Night didn't came out until like when? Like back in 2012 or 13, the last Fight Night.
Yeah.
Dude, why all of a sudden do you bring these two fighters? Obviously there has to be something. Something has got to give. So hopefully
these are boxing fighters that they put in a UFC game. So
yeah. So if you played the last Fight Hype, the last Fight Night, these two fighters were the main fighters in that fight series. So they put them on the UFC 3 as an update, so you can fight them on the UFC.
So they're like boxing inside that sports circle?
All raw rating and everything, yeah.
These ones go on the ground and everything?
Go on the ground and everything, yeah. So you might see, hopefully, Fight Night series for EA Sports next year. Because I don't think they will do an update like that for no reason. And who's gonna be remembering these characters? Man, you gotta be an old school person to know these two fighters.
You got a picture of them?
Yeah, this is Andre Bishop right here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Andre Bishop rated number 94. So that's that. And then Adrian Broner gets arrested for a warrant.
Done with that guy.
Yeah.
Done with that guy. I honestly, I'm done. I hope he like takes him out and like he's tired.
That's what I tell you. I think it's gonna end in a technical knockout. And it's not about not because Broner has a chin, because Broner doesn't have a heart, and Broner doesn't have a mind, dude.
Well, he does have a heart, like, or else he wouldn't have survived with freaking Maidana.
Nah, I think when you
I don't think he's got the same heart anymore.
when you say my family set, that means you don't have to last long in the fight to be set. That means you can last long as Manny Pacquiao buries the hatchet, dude. And I think hopefully he takes those words into consideration with Broner, what he said in the press conference regarding Freddie Roach. We're gonna get things, and you know what I mean. So hopefully, all that plays into context when it comes to the fight. Yeah. And Manny Pacquiao has been looking good too. Have you seen him with the training? Yeah. So hopefully you see him. Hopefully catch him up. I'm not gonna be able to do that. But
I'll try to take Alexis. We'll see if he wakes up. He's nodding.
any big prediction for 2019?
Big prediction.
Yeah.
On like a fight to be made or
Just anything. I have something in general in mind, honestly.
I don't got anything right now. You, Gio?
No, I got Andre Ward coming back next year.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think Andre Ward is coming back. Yeah.
SOG. I'm
Yeah.
coming back for fight outside his home.
Somehow we put him in his top pound for pound list.
That's a good prediction.
Yeah, I think
It's a
Andre
bold
Ward's
prediction.
coming back. Yeah. In fact,
Based on what you saw him like at the contender and
no, because
He probably needs money.
no, not that that guy is set because he's he just came out with the contender and he's the advisor of Shakur Stevenson, a fighter that's going to be a prospect for Top Rank for a long time, for the next 15 years. So he's set as far as advising, but there's an interesting quote, and this was happening last month too. They interviewed him, and this is when they were talking about him fighting Anthony Joshua. He said,
fighting Anthony Joshua?
yeah, they asked him that, and he says, yeah. He said, and when Bergerac brought it up against Post-Kovalev, this is his words, that was serious, Ward noted. I know it seems crazy, it is a major risk, but that's what this thing is all about, magnitude of the fight. That would be crazy because no one would think I will win, and all the critics and everybody who's been waiting on me to lose, they for sure will have a front row seat. They're going to promote the fight. They're going to write about it. They're not going to stop writing about it because they want people to see that fight, because they'll be like, that's going to be the one where I'm going to get got. It will be huge. It will be huge. So, yeah, that's what he said last month. So he's asking for it. He's that's his words. So
how old is Joshua?
6'5"
Not even a fight.
6'5" or 6'4".
Yeah.
So I for Andre Ward, for him to say that man, we talk about Mikey Garcia's being crazy. That's another level of craziness.
I mean, there's nothing even remotely closer than where that's gonna happen. But if it does,
If he does come back, I want him to fight Usyk. Yeah.
that's a little bit more plausible.
No, but I think I think he's gonna come back. I think he'll come back. Hopefully he does, because a lot of people are not gonna give him credit for how he ended his career.
See, my prediction be. I want to say I think the Zone makes their money back. I want to say, but shit.
Yeah,
People
good luck, because I unsubscribed.
Yeah, people are unsubscribing left and right, but
They just lost 120 from me last year. Look, I'm only gonna subscribe to the Zone if Anthony is fighting.
okay.
That's all.
Sims Jr. or Anthony Joshua?
Anthony Sims Jr.
Whichever Anthony fights.
They have a lot of Anthonys, you know that, right?
Yarde.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Anthonys.
That's that. I don't have anything else to say to boxing this year, but it's been crazy.
I guess what are your final thoughts on the year?
You guys gonna say random stories, man?
Random stories?
Oh my.
We had a lot.
Joe,
You guys are too busy with the gossip over here.
We got a bunch of random stories since we first started the show. Shit. One that I keep hearing a lot.
Well, go ahead.
I don't want to talk about that.
Which one, dude?
I mean, me and Jill are like, we're
I'm waiting
telepathing. Yeah, me and Jill are like telepathing the story that we want to hear.
Oh, now you guys can talk about it.
All right. You want me to talk about it, Jill?
Contender finale?
Yeah, contender finale?
That was a great
Good.
show.
No, not that it was a great show. You wanted to make it a show afterwards. So this guy, Chris, was running out of gas, which, by the way...
So, first of all, the show was a success, right? Everything was good. We got free parking,
free Wi-Fi.
free Wi-Fi.
Free tickets.
We saw a bunch of boxers.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I wasn't welcome in the end, though. And so, we didn't even know that you were running out of gas, Chris. So
Yeah,
you should have brought this up to the equation.
Yeah.
And Chris was running out of gasoline on his car, and he made that aware after we were coming out of the stadium.
I was like, I'm empty.
Yeah, you were running on empty, and I'm in the front, Alexis and Gio are in the back, and we're driving because you're trying to find a...
The gas station.
You didn't even...
Keep in mind,
Here's one.
the forum is in Inglewood, right? So this guy drives east, right?
Heading towards
Toward the 110.
The 110, right?
Yeah.
Right, so we're on what, like Manchester Boulevard at this point?
Yeah.
And he tells
So
us...
if you're from around the area, you know
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah, you know where this is going. And then Chris is saying we need gas. I'm like, all right. And the thing is, Chris, you should have been more aware. You should have gone on your
I was
phone and put on the
scared easily.
GPS in the gasoline station. So I didn't know that parts of America could turn into Iraq with one block, and that's what ended up happening, dude.
It was pretty.
Like you went like, all right, let's put gasoline in this gasoline station. And I honestly thought that you were trying to fool me, Chris. I thought you were just like, I'm just gonna mess around with these guys.
Chris got
No,
Chris
but
got me, bro.
You were seriously, dude.
Deadass.
You don't know
This kid sitting
damn
on
well.
business.
I was like so pissed off inside my mind. I'm like, I'm not even gonna get into it. At this point, I was just trying to survive because I turn around as soon as you park the car, and I see this woman approaching Gio from the
Okay,
side.
So this gas station is very depleted. Doesn't even look like a gas station.
Yo, hold up,
It
dude.
was bad.
Did you took pictures, Gio?
I was too scared to take my phone out, man.
You didn't want to have the
Yo, so we pull up,
yeah.
and the first thing I notice is the signs.
Yeah.
Now, you know when you pull up to a gas
These signs
station,
weren't even working.
when you pull up to a gas station, it will say like 87, 89.
Yeah.
Dog, this shit had like a notebook paper on it, taped.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that already else was like,
Yeah.
and I see like 4 people just standing against the wall.
Yeah. Looking at us like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like,
It was bad.
are you gonna keep driving or are you gonna stop?
yeah, this
No,
was
of
like,
course
I
he
had
stopped.
no gas, fine. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, guys.
He's like, I really need gas.
yeah,
No gas.
dude. And the
I'll
thing,
lock my door.
Like
yeah.
it was the Wahia was like behind the E, like that shit was gonna die. So
and I told this to
I'm
you.
just gonna put 5
Nah,
bucks and like
not
try to
even-
find the next, yeah.
No, not even Chris. I told you too, dude. If you, I was telling you, dude, I will push the car, dude. I don't even. I'll push the car. These guys could chill. Well, I'm just trying to survive, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I have family that's in the army, then, and yeah, there's no need for that, dude. That's crazy, dude. Like,
So this thing looked like a war-torn country, dude. Like when we just pulled up,
Yeah.
I never seen anything like that here.
yeah, I thought we went
US,
into
so.
some portal into Iraq. That's how it was, dude.
It was bad.
And then afterwards, we were able to find a way to leave that gasoline station and needed to find gasoline. So luckily there was a gasoline, this beautiful
Kept
76 gasoline station like 2 blocks away. And at the I don't know, and I'm not a believer in God, but I was praying. I was praying for something, dude.
You know what? I thought of. You know, like when you're going to Vegas
Yeah.
and it's been like 4 hours and you just want to get there. And finally, you see all the bright lights.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, we're finally there.
Finally.
That's what we thought, dude. We just saw 76.
Yeah.
We're like, dude,
Yeah.
we lost. Shout out 76, man.
Yeah, and not even that. Like, man, we have some beautiful gasoline stations here, dude, in Long Beach. And just sometimes you gotta be privileged, man. And we're privileged to have some beautiful gasoline stations here.
After seeing that one, all these are nice.
Nah,
It's funny.
I don't think there was a gasoline station, Chris. It's legit. No.
I googled it, man. There weren't many reviews, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Those are fake reviews, dude. That's fake news,
No,
dude.
it's funny because when we got to the other gas station, I got up and I was paying, and the lady, I told her, I was like, oh, my friend's a little scared. Like that gas station behind us was really bad, and she's all like, oh, this one's not that good either. I was like, oh, compared to that one, like this shit's pretty good. Like, it was horrible.
I don't know, man. I kind of.
You know, I always say like do it for the show, but in this case, I was like, man,
No.
I don't know, dude.
Nah. No, dude. I literally thought you were joking around, dude.
Like obviously, like if I had more gas, I would have like kept going back.
Let me ask you
That shit was
something,
about to die, bro.
dude. Did you didn't put like no context as far as how the gasoline station looked like right there?
I'll be honest, I don't get scared easily. Like I don't.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Remember we kept telling him, dude, you're so naive. You thought you were safe. He's like, I grew up in the hood, dude. I'm just like, that is not the hood, dude.
No,
That's
dude.
like some,
Dude.
that's like some 1980s
Yeah.
colors. You ever seen the movie? It's like,
I get easy
nah,
scared.
that should look like a gas station like after the Watts riots, dude.
Not even the Watts Wides, dude. Psst. I bet you there's better gasoline stations in Iraq, dude, than that, dude. Damn, dude. I was scared to my life. And
What were we saying? Like, he was gonna pull up, like, let me get 20 on 5. They're just gonna give you a
yeah.
little baggie, dude.
Yeah.
You're gonna give you gas.
me and Gio were gonna do the commentary inside the car. They're gonna check
give
your
you a lunch
pockets.
bag, dude.
He's taking a knee right now.
You're gonna check your pockets, and then you're gonna do a fielding afterwards. And me and Gio are gonna be doing the commentating.
Oh, he's looking at his corner.
Yeah, he's
We're
looking
not
at his
saying
corner.
anything.
We're not saying
We
anything.
threw in the towel, like,
Yeah.
before the fight started.
Yeah.
Drive.
Yeah. Not drive. I had to push the car, dude. Well, that's the only story I could come up with, but
Yeah.
I'm lucky to
I
be
mean,
alive.
we've had some interesting stories, like, since we started the show, you know, back in, when's it, like,
September.
You
Yeah.
know, we just
You know, our
started-
first show was actually after the Canelo Triple G fight.
Yeah, that's
So
the
we had a good
first,
start.
the first show was, like, reviewing the fight, you know, our thoughts. It was pretty dope, man, like, since everything that we've done since then, going after Roshin, Chris, you want to talk about that, Chris, a little bit?
That was crazy.
Check it
honestly.
out on YouTube.
Honestly, it was crazy. And in fact, I've been actually forwarding that video to a couple of people, and they've been noticing it too. And a lot of people were telling me, "Hey man, has this gotten views?" I'm like, "Not really. It's just like 500 views." But honestly, like even like that kind of sets the tone of who we are, right? Just in general, like how we criticize people outside. And it's not like we're criticizing people inside this podcast, but also outside the ring too, you know. And I think that kind of like, as much as you felt like you were scared, I was scared too a little bit. But at the same time, I was just like, man, like. And the thing,
I would have fired up, dude.
but yeah, no. And the thing is, Gio, like, and this is something that me and Chris were aware that this is why we're so different compared to like, not to knock off work on anybody has media credentials, but I'm just saying everybody was distracted on HBO. And, like everybody ran into Max Kellerman, Jim Lampy, and Roger Jr. But we were like, no, hey Chris, you're gonna record. I'm gonna run up to him, but we had everything already set up before all this. And it's crazy too because that happened 1 week after the Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, and nobody approached the judge at all.
Yeah.
Like nobody.
And it was like, what kind of show? He's at the last HBO show. You know, this is a judge we thought like kind of like Adelaide Bird, like she took off a couple weeks, months.
Yeah.
From judging just because of all that backlash. We're
No.
like, this guy's not gonna work for like a couple months at least.
And I think what we should do when it comes down to big fights, that we should do a pre-judge. Like who are the judges? Screen them, put them in public. See if we could be aware of anything that could be signs of corruption in the future.
Yeah, like with obviously like you don't know until it happens, but like there was some. I don't want to say there was some hints, but like I mean, WBC, Mexican judge. You know, it's like those little things that you know that you can kind of start already. You know, uncovering.
That's why when you say like you should make judges who used to be fighters, it's the same thing though, because they all have their political connects. Because what if you put a former boxer who's like 10 and 20, right? And then he's judging these fights, and then you find out that he was like Oscar De La Hoya's sparring partner for many years, and he's been judging all these Golden Boy cards, you know, and you're like, yo, what the hell? Like they all have their political connects too, so it's difficult.
Yeah, so that was a crazy story. Also, what other ones do I have?
Oh, Meeting Anthony.
Oh, Meeting Anthony. Yeah, that was surreal.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was gonna mention. Just the people that we met, you know, this year. I think Chicano Boxing was our very first guest, right?
Yeah. Very knowledgeable. You guys don't know her. Follow her on, YouTube.
And in the thing, the whole, even me going to the Serbios headquarters, that was kind of scary. I'm not sure if you watched Black Mirror.
Yeah.
You ever watched that episode regarding where the guy has to do some virtual reality?
I haven't seen that one.
No. Yeah. So you have to go. He has to go to the headquarters. He has to sign off a waiver, not record anything. So that's what. Yeah. So me going to Serbios, like I had to sign a waiver. I had to look at all the gamers and don't record that. And like put me in an interesting spot to do the interview and all that. It's just like, just made me reflect about Black Mirror in that episode, but it also made me reflect how gamers like do like developing, like, and it was pretty cool, like being behind the scenes of doing the game, and just them telling me that, oh yes, because they did the game now and now they have their own boxing class twice a week, like that was pretty sweet. That, and then Complex Con, that was crazy. Running into like Bad News Burrell and Nas and what else? Ben Staples and not Ted Cruz, but Victor Cruz and all that. I mean, it's been crazy. Even the whole event with Contender has been cool, like that, meeting all the boxers and stuff like that. But like I mentioned to you, boxing is inclusive. It's not exclusive. Like you can easily meet your own boxer that you want, except for the A-side fighters, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, boxing is really accessible. It's independent. But that's what I'm concerned. Independent against mainstream. That's what's gonna happen.
Regio, any?
Oh no, I just wanted to go back to the Chicano boxing thing because we just kind of skipped over it. Remember when you said you're gonna bite her?
Yeah.
I was kind of like, yeah, we were like, yeah, she has a large following, she knows boxing, this and that. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I didn't expect much, but she knows her shit.
Yeah.
But shout out to her. Shout out to Chicano boxing.
Yeah, to me it was like how we met Anthony. That to me was like, obviously like the first, he has 17 fights, so usually you kind of know like some of these fighters that have been fighting for, But the first time like we heard of him was on the DAZN card, and it was on social media. One of his like post fight interviews kind of blew up, and he showed a human side to boxing, and thought putting to light something an issue other than what pertain to boxing. And to me, like, well, I was like, oh, this guy's a pretty cool guy. Let me look him up and stuff. So I followed him, looked him up on BoxRec. That's like where we first go to to see the record, where they're from, and stuff. And so we found out that he was from Long Beach, and I reached out to him on social media, not thinking that he was gonna reply back. And so he finally did, and we invited him to the podcast. And dude, it was just awesome just having him there. It was crazy, dude. And like you said, it's inclusive, but it's like you also have to reach out and stuff. And like I said, it was crazy to know that he was like the nephew of Mayweather, and this guy was like a totally opposite, person to what the Mayweather persona and the Mayweather name. And so, yeah, I mean, like, it was pretty cool, man. Like, I never expected to, like, we started the show and something like this would come out of it.
Yeah. Then also other people that we met like throughout our time doing this. We ran into Sean Porter. He was nice.
Yeah. Cool. Guy's big.
We ran into Tyson Fury.
Tyson.
It was hard getting close to him, but he was there.
That was scary.
Leo Santa Cruz, we saw him a couple times.
He was cool.
Yeah, he joined us on the commentary table this past Saturday. You can check it out if you haven't seen it. It's on YouTube. We saw his dad and him a couple times this year. Huh? We saw him at Staples Centers too.
Yeah.
And as far as for me, like, like even running into people like Jesse Vargas and Badu Jack, like I'll criticize him, but you know what? When I walk by him, I'm gonna just walk by him. I'm not gonna say what's up. I'll keep it real. Like I don't care about these guys and like John Molina Jr. Just walk by him. We're not gonna be fake and be like, hey, let me get a picture, dude. Fuck that. Keep it real.
To me, I'm a nice guy, so like I usually do say hi. I don't always get the picture. I don't need the picture, but I do say hi. Like I acknowledge them, But it's not like I don't consider. I'm just a nice guy. I just like to be polite and just acknowledge, because what they do is not easy, man. Like if boxing was easy, everybody would do it. But it's not, so.
Yeah, I'm supposed to spar with my friend tomorrow, 2 rounds.
That's why I was giving you shit about Rocky Fielding, dude. Because you're just thrashing that pussy.
I was, bro. I was.
Be consistent, dog.
No, like, To me, like, I would respect you for doing like jumping in the ring, but still, man, like, if you're just gonna like fold, come on, bro. You can't just fold. You know, you're a fighter. But,
Hey, you don't feel what he was feeling. Yeah, but we
you're a
also
big
met
guy.
some.
Triple G, smaller guy, takes a punch. Come on,
And he's from Liverpool. You should know better, right? No, but we also met some interesting boxers just from All Star Boxing, right? Got a chance to talk to John Sanchez Leon.
Yeah.
We got to this guy. What's his name? Matt Gaver.
Yeah.
The guy who fought him.
Yeah.
He's a pretty cool dude. You know, I'll try to put some clips up on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You know, got the interview with Freddie Roach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we met a lot of people for this short time, 3 months.
Yeah, it's cool just having these different platforms, you know, for boxing and stuff. And like having these podcasts has helped us in the commentator table and vice versa, and so
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah, thanks to all the people who like the video, subscribe, watches, all that stuff. Because I've had a couple of people just like randomly when I run into them be like, you know, I haven't seen these people in years, and the first thing they say is like, yo, I watch your podcast.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even say hi or anything. They just say, I watch your podcast. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. Like, people are actually watching out there. So shout out to you guys, man.
Anything else, Chris?
It's gonna be interesting what happens.
Yeah.
This upcoming year. I'm not talking about boxing, but just what we could do with this, and that's why, like, I told this to a couple people, like, when I did the Complex Con thing, and then going to the HBO thing, and then the Tyson Fury Wilder fight. I never go in there without having expectations at all. Like, I always go in there, like, I don't have expectation. Oh, this is what I gotta do. This is who I could run out.
Yeah.
Take that away, and just let the day go by. Same thing with this too. I'm not gonna have expectations with what we could do with this podcast, even the relationship that we have with Anthony, even like even monetizing this in the end, right? But I'm never gonna look at the expectations like that, because once you do that, it's kind of like you start to stress about it, and you start to reflect on, oh, we're not meeting these type of standards or anything like that. Take a step back and just reflect at that this opportunity that what we have is not something that not many people have, right? In this case, one, doing commentating, and then two, doing the podcast. So I know that the expectations can be high, but at the same time, it's like, I mentioned this to you too, like, me being at the boxing events, watching the fights is hard now. I feel like I can't enjoy the same excitement because now it's pure
you're like
business.
Yeah, I get you.
So I'm trying to enjoy the fight, but more important, I'm trying to enjoy this as much as possible. You know what I mean? But not have expectation.
And to me, that's like I was like able to enjoy the Sanchez Leon fight, because obviously you're commentating, you're working, like you're doing that. But when we had Leo,
Shout out Beat the Count.
when we had the Leo and Beat the Count join us, like I was able to sit back and just watch and enjoy. I was like, this feels nice. Like,
Good little break.
Yeah, good little break. But
Yeah, but I think that would be my end of the year message to people. You know, whatever you do, just have fun. You know, enjoy it.
Enjoy the ride.
Because, you know,
expectations.
Speaking like personally, this is all fun to me. You know, I know that after this, I'm gonna edit the audio, edit the videos, do all that stuff. But I mean, it's fun. I don't stress about it. I have fun with it. It's a good hobby. Keeps us busy. You know, and I mean, it's enjoyable at the end of the day.
Yeah, to me, a lot.
So whatever you do, just enjoy it.
Yeah, to me, like a lot of people, they're already looking at the finish line. Whether outside of boxing, whether it's marriage, whether it's a career, whether it's whatever X reason or, you know, you're already looking at the finish line. But sometimes, like, the best thing is just the journey, man. That's like the stuff that you're gonna remember. So yeah, I'm just like excited for next year, the journey, who we're gonna meet, and stuff, how we grow, like in our, you know, individual selves and our skills and look whatever. I'm just like looking forward to that. So I'm excited, you guys.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah. You want to wrap it up, Gio?
Yeah, just
All right. Thank you guys for listening this year. This is the last show of the year. January. We're going to try to start it off strong. You know, shout out to all the people who in some way or another are affiliated with us, that we've worked with, that we've met. You know, like we said, Chicano Boxing, Beat the Count, Anthony Sims Jr., Wolfpack Roundtable 2. Shout out to them. JT Media. Shout out to them. All Star Boxing Promotions.
Shout out to Alexis Garcia, number 1 fan.
Yeah, we're gonna keep rocking it till the wheels fall off, man.
Yep.
That's all I can say.
Awesome.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
See you next year.
If y'all gonna celebrate this year, lift it home.
Drink responsibly. And don't forget,
Good drink.
Against the Ropes, number 1.
It's the ropes, number 1.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
Against the ropes, number 1.
Freddie Roach.
Thank you very much.
Good show, guys. Good show. Cool. Y'all never gonna let me live that down at that gas station.
No. I might end up bringing it up again.